Home sellers outnumber buyers by a record margin, almost 47%. And at the same time, we got some good news coming. We have rates at really a 3-year low. We have pending sales up over 5%. And we have Ron DeSantis coming to the rescue a little bit with homeowners insurance, driving down homeowners insurance premiums. So if you're looking for a reason, and I think we all are, to have an incredible 2026, I think these things are going to make a big difference.
Don't stop believing.
That's right. Don't stop believing. Please don't stop believing, because if you've been in the market this long, I think 2026 is where we start to, get back maybe close 4.5 million. Could we say 5 million transactions? We're going to look at some of those numbers. Let's start with this article by Redfin talking about home sellers outnumber buyers by a record margin, upping buyers' bargaining power. And look, there's obviously no secret that buyers are more in charge. There were a record 47% more home sellers than buyers in December, giving the buyers who were in the market a lot of negotiating power. And I can tell you right now, I see a massive amount of closing costs being paid by sellers, rate buy downs, 2-1 buy downs. If you're looking for the sweet spot, it's when rates have fallen and at the same time you have motivated sellers. And that's right now. So they got this chart that, to me, I don't really totally understand it. It says it's the strongest buyer's market on record. But they stop it at 2013, and I don't know if this would, in 2007 and 8, would be considered a stronger buyer's market. There were certainly more deals in 2008 and really flexible sellers. So they say the biggest buyer's market on record. This is the most interesting stat to me, though, is we're all worried about, could there be a big market correction? In last week's video, I covered nobody, and I mean almost nobody, predicting anything but appreciation. And why is that? Look at inventory. We'll just look at sellers. That's actually low. The sellers are low right now. It's just that buyers are not participating, right? Buyers are not participating for all kinds of reasons. Rates were higher, affordability, and really the news has been nonstop on should you buy a home. But you're starting to see that change, right? Builders have gotten hyper competitive to get buyers. We've seen rates fall, and there's so many programs out there right now that are helping buyers that when I get a buyer, they're actually excited when they see all the options that are available to them. When we look at rates, we are now range bound in this like 6 and 6.25% range, right? Everyone's rate's going to be different. People are getting lower rates, buying it down, they have better credit, bigger down payments. But in general, across the nation, without paying a lot of fees, you see that rates in the 6 and 6.25% for highly qualified buyers. And I think we're going to see that for a little while, though I do know for sure that Jerome Powell is leaving the Fed this summer, and they're going to put a Fed president that's more likely to lower rates. And I think rates are going to be lower than what people think. A lot of the market thinks rates will be, somewhere in the high fives. I made a prediction. We'll see how it ages. That was with prediction that we'd be in the mid fives by the end of the year. We'll see. One other thing that is interesting is if we look here at Citizens, Florida Citizens Property Insurance announces an 8.7% average cut, and this is being driven by Ron DeSantis. And I think it's a bigger cut in South Florida, but more than 330,000 policyholders will see rates decline under the new structure. Of those, more than 150,000 will see reductions of 10% more. This is a big deal because insurance is what really is driving affordability as rates fall, because if rates fall and insurance keeps going up, that's a big deal. And if you're in the real estate industry, or even if you're not, you probably know Citizens is who's insuring a lot of home buyers because they're the insurer of last resort. And right now, they're often the best deal over any private insurer. One other thing, just as far as insurance goes, so they announced that they're going to require flood insurance, and they've kind of got this phase out period. So they've already kind of been doing this. So pretty much by January of 2027, all policies, regardless of value, that have a mortgage and that have wind coverage are going to require flood insurance. Now, that's a good thing because, trust me, I've been through some of this myself. If you don't have flood insurance and water rises from outside of your building and comes in, or your house, you're not covered. A lot of Floridians don't have flood insurance because it's not required. But if a hurricane pops up, it's going to protect you. So if you don't have flood insurance, it's super cheap comparatively when you're not in a flood zone. So it's something you may want to look at anyways. And if you have Citizens, you're probably going to have to do it as well. And then last but not least, as far as existing home sales, We are up 5.1% in December. I've got their chart here, and you can see this. They kind of have this graph. Actually, I have a better one here, I think. So this is existing home sales right here. So this is, to me even more interesting than pending home sales, is we shot back up to this 4.3 million. We have not been getting over 4.3 in a while. We're still there, but I think this trend is going to be to continue. I'd really like to see us get over 4 million in transactions, or sorry, over 5 million in transactions this year. Will it happen? I don't know, but we are definitely going to end higher than the 3.3 million in transactions that we started out in the beginning of this year, at the end of the year, and that'll be the first time in a while. Why is that? Lower rates, motivated sellers, buyers hearing it's a good time, and all these programs designed to help buyers get into homes. So what do I think is the biggest thing to be focusing on right now is figuring out how to get that message out there. A lot of buyers still on the fence. They're waiting and waiting and waiting. They don't realize if rates get a quarter or 3/8% better, it affects the payment $50, $60, $70. But then if sellers get less motivated, or there's more options for sellers as far as buyers go, it's just going to make housing in general more expensive, because the big savings are with sellers that are willing to help. So we're going to track all that and more. If you're not using AI, you're looking to build a good daily success plan, or you'd like me to come out and speak to your office, let me know. I've been doing a lot of that lately, going over the programs, going over the market, and things that we can do all to be successful in 2026. Hey, everyone, this is Race Robinson, your favorite Florida mortgage broker. We're going to track all this data and more. As more information becomes available that moves the market, as always, I'm going to cover it right here. Have a great day, great week, and I'll talk to you soon.